Hi guys, this is Rizzo with Full Awakening here to welcome you to your daily 11:11 meditation for July 4th, 2020. So July 4th in America, in the United States, is a holiday, Independence Day. And this is not the subject of my reading today or my teaching today. My subject is fighting for control, but I thought I'd like to just mention it because I know a lot of us who are watching from the US are experiencing this moment together, and this might be one of the more conflictual Independence Days that we've had in a while. Because, as I like to say to people, or as I have often said to people, I am not very proud to be an American. I have never felt very proud to be an American, but I would like to feel proud of being an American, and I do feel that I am here on this continent, in this country, for a reason. And so this morning, as I was thinking about that and thinking about how I've always felt conflicted about Independence Day, I decided, I can be proud to be an American because there are many people who are American who have fought for freedom, have fought for justice, have fought for equality, have woven beautiful dreams. Beyond fighting, have woven beautiful dreams. And some of those dreams have come to fruition, and many, many more in the coming years will come to be seen in the 3D world. So I can be proud to be an American in that sense. We think of all the things that we're not proud of, but really there's many people and many things to be proud of and to bring heart to. So that brings me to the subject today, which is fighting for control. With all of my teachings and with my life, I believe that the lessons that we learn are most effective if we learn them internally first and then apply them to our outside life. So fighting for control is something that we can see all around us, right, in our greater society, if you're an American right now, but in our world as well, with our collective. There's this fight for control, this push and pull, push and pull, push and pull for control. And what is the healing point to that? What is the answer to this constant battle that we find ourselves enmeshed in? And the answer to that is love. Now, love is a big overarching word. It's a word that we put a lot of weight into, but we don't really understand what love means. And that is a big subject for exploration. And it's not a soft, fluffy subject. It's a really serious and potentially very hurtful process to understand what it means to love and how we often find ourselves in cases of lovelessness. So I want to read to you from a book. This, as you guys know, this is a book that I've been reading, Untamed. And as I don't have a lot of time to read in any given day, I have to fit it in where I can. So I'm not very far along. I'm on page 116, 117. Well, I'm actually a little bit further. I'm on page 131. But I found this section, and it really, really moved me. And so I wanted to share it with you today because I think it talks to us about this subject that Spirit brought to me, which is this fight for control and how love plays a part in that. Okay, let's read. So I had been deceived. The only thing that was ever wrong with me was my belief that there was something wrong with me. I quit spending my life trying to control myself and began to trust myself. We only control what we don't trust. We can either control ourselves or love ourselves, but we can't do both. Love is the opposite of control. Love demands trust. I love myself now. Self-love means that I have a relationship with myself built on trust and loyalty. I trust myself to have my own back, so my allegiance is to that voice within. I'll abandon everyone else's expectations of me before I'll abandon myself. I'll disappoint everyone else before I'll disappoint myself. I'll forsake all others before I forsake myself. Me and myself, we are till death do us part. What the world needs is more women who have quit fearing themselves and have started trusting themselves. What the world needs is masses of women who are entirely out of control. Which I think is funny. It's a funny way to end that paragraph, but beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's take that in for a second. Take that into our hearts, and the idea that the opposite of love is control. Because control is fear, right? We control what we fear, and we can't trust what we don't we can't trust what we fear, therefore we can't love what we can't trust. Trust is an integral ingredient into loving, right? And I think that right now, our subject, I think last week was about oppression. What we need right now is more trust. We need to understand how to trust. And that requires us to be really brave and to face our fears. So let's take that back in to our own experience and the experience with our most intimate relationships with our family and with ourselves. I think that for me, being able to trust myself means to trust myself to be forgiving towards myself. I think for most of us, and I certainly experience this internally, we can be our own worst critics, right? So if we mess up, if we do something wrong, if we have an accident of some sort, the way that we speak to ourselves can be very, very harsh. We can be very disappointed in ourselves. And that can really harm our hearts to punish ourselves so sternly for a perceived mistake, right? And that lowers our ability, the tender parts of us, it lowers the tender parts of us and our ability to trust those domineering parts of us. So this process of domination, the process of control is really, we can really see it internally. I think most people have a mechanism of self-punishment internally. And that can sort of leak into our other relationships as well. That leaks into our intimate partnerships, it leaks up into our friendships, and it certainly leaks into the way that we parent. So for myself, being a parent of two children that are in that zone where they're doing lots of things that are challenging to me, it's difficult to find a way to guide but not control. It's difficult to find a way to love and trust my children and not control them. Try to control them at least. So I think let's just play with that a little bit here. We're going to do a meditation in a moment, and I want us just to come into that sense of trust. I want us to dedicate ourselves to a level of trust internally so that we can arrive to ourselves in ever more gentle ways. We can learn to trust ourselves, and those tender parts of us can feel that love. And then we can extend that out into our other relationships. Then our other relationships, we can look at the way that we do trust or don't trust, how we express trust or how we express mistrust, how we express control versus expressing love and tenderness. So let's start with ourselves, and then that naturally will flow outward. Okay, if you can close your eyes, take a deep breath in. Draw all your energy, all your presence, all your consciousness energy into this present moment. Into your heart. And focus your energy on your heart. You might even place a hand on your heart. And just feel that gentle weight. And I want you to call forth a part of yourself that is very tender. A part of yourself, most likely a child aspect of yourself, that is very sensitive to criticism, very sensitive to feeling judged or controlled or dominated. Just call that self forward. And now I want you to call forward on the other side of you, the part of you that judges, the part of you that feels the need to control your inner environment, feels the need to control and punish for actions that step outside the line. And just stand as a witness of love between these two aspects. Let the tender aspect know that she is safe or they are safe, and let the older aspect know that right now their job is not to judge or to police or to control, just to be present, because both of them have healing to do. I want you to hold them, one in one hand, one in the other. Hold their hands. And let them know our job here is not to control. Turn to the aspect that likes to judge or think it's her job to judge, his job to judge, their job to judge. It's not your job to judge. It's your job to learn to trust. Nothing bad is going to happen if this other aspect is allowed to express themselves. It's okay. You're safe here. Now turning to the more tender aspect and letting that tender young aspect know it's okay to express yourself. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to make mistakes. We learn when we make mistakes. We learn best when we make mistakes, even. It's okay to wonder and to have questions and to be vulnerable. It's okay. You're safe here. To make sure that tender aspect can really hear you. Because what you're stating is that you are going to stand as witness to both these aspects. You are going to stand in the place of love. So your current day self, your full adult, resourced self, is going to stand as an agent of love in this relationship between this aspect of you that seeks to control and punish, and this aspect of you that wants to feel safe, to express, to make mistakes, to be curious, to learn, to feel free. And you are standing in between as an agent of love. Now, as an agent of love, you are not going to push either of these aspects away, and you're also not going to grab them closer and try to squeeze them into you. You're going to simply just neutrally and lovingly and compassionately witness when and if they struggle with themselves or each other. And you're going to be attentive and gentle with that observation. Because when we experience cruelty inside of ourselves, when that controlling aspect is on high alert inside of ourselves, that violence can leak out into our outer environment. Of course it does. Of course it's reflected outside of us, in our other relationships or in the world in which we live in. And we know we need more peace, more compassion, more understanding right now, more than ever. That's what the world is calling for. So it starts here. So now you may see a balance forming. That tender aspect is starting to feel a little bit more expressive, a little bit more alive. And that controlling aspect is starting to relax a little bit. They're starting to release their diligence. They're starting to feel more gentle, more alive, more present. And now if you could ask them to take their other hands that are free and to reach their hands towards each other so that they may hold their hands as well. So now you're standing in a circle. So allow yourself to witness that trust and that gentleness and that extreme courage that they both have, that they're willing to reach towards each other. And see them take each other's hands. Take a deep breath in. Beautiful. We are writing a new contract for ourselves and for our world. The dedication to which you can show up for this process internally is rippling unforeseeable positive effects on our planet. So if you are service-minded, you can think of it, your dedication to this practice, as part of your earth service. Okay, give gratitude to both these aspects for showing up, and restate your intention, your dedication to show up for them, to be their witness, to remind them of love, to remind them that they can release the fear, the control, the mistrust, the policing internally. You're here to talk them through it. Wonderful. All right. If we were to give this emotion of peace inside of ourselves, what color would it be? What color is peace to you right now? And rub that color between your hands. And create a little orb of energy. And grow that orb a little bit bigger. So mine's this beautiful turquoise blue. A little bit bigger. All right, and place our earth inside of your orb. And send this wish, this tool, this intention to all people on earth. All humans, in form or out of form. All those human consciousnesses on earth, that they may be able to be gentle and compassionate and witnessing of this internal dynamic of control and mistrust. That they can begin to heal that wound, so that they can create an environment of trust and love inside of them. And squeeze that, hug that into the earth. And draw that into your heart. And release. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for your work and your effort in becoming an ever more loving and compassionate person for yourself and for others. The world needs you and needs your good intentions. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.